So reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita 9:30, Apichet su duracharo bhajate mamananyaba sadureva samantavyaha samyagvavasito hesaha. Api, even, chet, if, suduracharaha, one committing the most abominable action, bhajate, is engaged in devotional service, mam, unto me, ananya bhak, without deviation, sadhu, the same, eva, certainly, saha, he, mantavyaha, is to be considered, samyak, completely, vyavasitaha, situated in determination, hey, certainly, saha, he. Translation: even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, is to be considered saintly, because he is properly situated in his determination. Can you repeat? Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, is to be considered saintly, because he is properly situated in his determination. The word suduracharaha used in this verse is very significant and we should understand it properly. When a living entity is conditioned, he has two kinds of activity. One is conditional and the other is constitutional. As for protecting the body or abiding by the rules of society and state, certainly there are different activities even for the devotee. In connection with the conditioned life, and such activities are called conditional. Besides this, the living entity who is fully conscious of spiritual nature and is engaged in Krishna consciousness or devotional service to the Lord, as activities are called transcendental. Such activities are performed in the constitutional position and they are technically called devotional service. Now in the conditioned state, sometimes devotional service and the conditional service in relation to the body will parallel one another. But then again, sometimes these activities may become opposed to one another. As far as possible, a devotee is very cautious so that he does not do anything which could disturb his wholesome condition. He knows that perfection in his activity depends on his progressive realization of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, however, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some act which may be taken as most abominable socially or politically. But such a temporary fall down does not disqualify him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam it is stated that if a person falls down but is wholeheartedly engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord, Supreme Lord, the Lord being situated in the heart, purifies him and excuses him from that abomination. The material contamination is so strong that even a yogi fully engaged in the service of the Lord sometimes becomes ensnared by Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is so strong that such an occasional fall down is at once rectified. And therefore the process of devotional service is always a success. No one should deride a devotee for some accidental fall down from the ideal path. So, as explained in the next verse, such occasional fall down will be stopped in due course as soon as the devotee is completely situated in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness and is engaged with determination in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, should be considered to be in the transcendental position, even if by chance or accident he is found to have fallen. The word sadhu reva is saintly, very emphatic. They are warning to the non-devotees that because of an accidental fall down, a devotee should not be derided. He should be considered saintly even if he has accidental fall down. The word mantavya is still more emphatic. If one does not follow this rule and derides a devotee for accidental fall down, then one is disobeying the order of the Supreme Lord. The only qualification of a devotee is to be unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in the devotional service. In the Narishma Puranam, the following statement is given. Bhavati cha hara anyancha seta varsha malinopi virajite manusya nae shastra kalusha chalabir kadachi timira para bhavantam paiti chandra. The meaning is that even if one fully engaged in devotional service to the Lord is sometimes found engaged in abominable activities, these activities should be considered to be like sport that resembles the mark of a rabbit on the moon. Such sport do not become an impediment to the diffusion of moonlight. Similarly, the accidental fall down of a devotee from the path of a saintly character does not make him abominable. On the other hand, one should not misunderstand that a devotee in transcendental devotional service can act in all kinds of abominable ways. This verse only refers to an accident due to the strong power of material connection. Devotional service is more or less a declaration of war against the illusory energy. As long as one is not strong enough to fight the illusory energy, there may be accidental fall down. But when one is strong enough, he is no longer subject to such fall down as previously explained. No one should take advantage of this verse and commit nonsense and think that he is still a devotee. If he does not improve in his character by devotional service, then he is to be understood that he is not a high devotee. This verse has been often misquoted by many. Yes? They think that even you are very high grade and you will fall down. They say, oh, see, accidental fall down. Especially those people from ISKCON, they say this, when the Guru fall down, they quote this verse. Accidental fall down, Prabhu, you must forget. Yes? So we have to be very careful to understand this, Because material energy is very overpowering, Especially when we are in the neophyte stage, then it is inevitable, tough, correct? Maya, today good, tomorrow not good, correct? So in the neophyte stage, this is quite excusable. But when one is in the advanced stage, Prabhupada said, first class devotee cannot fall down. Second class devotee also cannot fall down. But third class devotee, he will fall down. See? So there are 3 grades of devotee. Yes? So we will look at that. I think it's in the CC, 22 what? 22? 72. So these verses are from the 11th canto 5. These are from 11 to 44, 45. So just for your information, if you are aware, a person advanced in devotional service see within everything the soul of the soul, the Supreme Personality of God is Sri Krishna. Constantly he always sees the form of the Supreme Personality of God as is the cause of all causes, understand that all things are situated in him. So this verse means that the person advanced in devotional service sees within everything the soul of the soul. That means you see God in your heart. And not only in your heart, in everything. I mean the inside, the tree, the plant, everywhere he reminds him of Krishna. You understand this point? He does not see the body and he gets attracted and he, you know what I mean? Because he is always reminded of Krishna. That is a pure devotee. He cannot be attacked by Maya. If you see God everywhere, can he be attacked by Maya? Not possible. You understand? So, here is explained. I go through this first class devotee so you understand show you a few verses on this. This divinity of the personality of Godhead is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities. So Maya cannot touch the Lord. She is always staying at the back. She is never in the front, just like shadow. She is like a shadow, correct? Shadow comes from what? Some object, right? Shadow itself has no base, yes? So Maya is like that. In the same way, one important point here to note is that those devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by material qualities. So this is referring to these pure devotees. Because they are always with the Lord, Maya cannot touch them. Even though, you see, even though they are with Maya, so you see here again, this is another very important point. The influence of material nature cannot harm an enlightened soul. That means a person who is in the first class, first position, Maya cannot harm an enlightened soul. You follow? So if someone say this person is a big guru and he fell down, it doesn't, you understand? That means it's not big guru. Correct? You understand this point? Even though he engages in material activities, because he knows that the truth of the Absolute and his mind is fixed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this point is very important, correct? Even though he is engaged in material activities, still Maya cannot touch him. You understand? Because you are going to encounter people who are going to speak otherwise. No, you have to understand. Brahma also fell down. Shiva also fell down. So what you will say? If they say like that, what will you say? Brahma fell down, Shiva fell down. What is that? Indra also fell. Everybody fell down. Krishna also fell down. He danced with so many gopis, yes? I only dance with one gopi, Prabhu. Yeah, only one, Prabhu. You have to excuse me, yeah? Can? So how you answer this question? I think that's the best way to give a class. I need you to explain to me so that you learn. So they speak like this. What is your counter argument? What do you say? Brahma fell down, Shiva fell down, who else fell down? Indra fell down. Indra is always falling down. So many people fall down. So my Guru Maharaj, he fell down, what are you objecting? Prabhu? In fact, they have changed already. The whole philosophy in ISKCON now, if one bus breaks down, no problem, Prabhu, you take another bus. The Gurus have become bus. So tell me how you counter this argument, because you are going to be preaching. Tell me. Hello? Are you giving big classes, I think, yeah? This is practical, because you have to face challenges, yes? So Prabhupada was, one devotee told this to Prabhupada, You got a letter? Huh? You got the letter, Prabhupada said? Huh? You see what Prabhupada said, he's going to put it up for you. Huh? How to do? What? When?
Just do this. Function F2.
Function F4.
F2.
Function F2.
Then double quote.
Huh?
Double quote.
Double quote means how?
Yeah?
Double quote means what? Oh, that, okay, this thing.
Okay, our Nitai.
Huh?
Our Nitai.
Let me see, huh? Give me
O-U-R.
double quote, huh? Oh, one quote is coming, how come?
Shift and then
Huh? Let's see how illiterate I am. Technically, I am.
This one, this one. Shift and this one.
I did that, Someone other is not coming.
No, shift and this.
Okay,
Then our Nitai.
Huh?
Our Nitai.
Our?
O-U-R. Nitai. Then again. Okay, and then.
Yeah? Okay, you see this is what Prabhupada said, huh? You take note because this is very important verse, because I want you to keep this because you will encounter, people who are going to speak like that, see? So, Akshayananda, I was recently told by one devotee that the Acharya does not have to be a pure devotee. Yeah? I met him when I was there in 1979. He was the temple president of Vrindavan. What? Prabhupada said, what? Akshayananda, that the Acharya does not have to be a pure devotee. Prabhupada, who is that rascal? See how Prabhupada is saying? Well, he said, who said it? Prabhupada, who said it? Who is that rascal? The Acharya does not require to be a pure devotee. Akshayananda said, it is Nitai. Nitai said it. He said in this context, he said that Lord Brahma is the Acharya in the Brahma Sampradaya, but yet he is sometimes afflicted by passion, so therefore he is saying that he appears that the Acharya does not have to be a pure devotee, so it does not seem right. See this point? Yeah? So, Prabhupada said, so, who is that rascal? I want to know who said. Nitai, Nitai. Nitai said that, laughs in disbelief. Who is Nitai Das? Our Nitai. Nitai, oh, our Nitai. Oh, he said he couldn't understand it. He said he manufactured this idea. Therefore he is a rascal. Did this thing? Therefore he is a rascal. Nitai has become an authority. Proper. Akshayananda. No, actually he said that he thought. He thought something rascal. And he is expressing that. Therefore he is more rascal. These things are going on. As soon as he reads some books, he becomes an acharya, and whatever rascal he may be. That's what Prabhupada is saying. See? A little knowledge, and he becomes what? So, Akshayananda. So there is no doubt that Lord Brahma is a pure devotee. Whatever he may be, he is acharya. So then Krishna is also passionate. Krishna danced with so many gopis, therefore he is passionate. See how Prabhupada is giving the analogy. These things are to be seen in that way. That such exalted person, he sometimes becomes passionate. So how much we shall be careful? See how Prabhupada is giving the example. If big people can be influenced like this, how much will affect us? Correct? See? This is the instruction. Third, we petty things, petty person, how much we shall be careful. It is not that Acharya has become passionate, therefore I shall become passionate. I am strict follower of Acharya. This rascal says. See how Prabhupada is giving it. Oh, he fell down, so therefore I also can. Correct? See? So, Arisuri, Lord Brahma being attracted to his daughter, that is just an example, Prabhupada. So why you discuss this? Therefore you should be attracted with your daughter, mother. Do you think so like that? See how this Prabhupada is giving? I didn't know. In this world, this is our disease. This is our disease. Yes. That disease, Brahma, Lord Shiva also, he was attracted to Mohini, so they are Iswaras. They are controllers. So the instruction is that even such personalities may be sexually attracted. So how much we shall remain careful? This is the instruction. Like the other rascal who was saying that Krishna was killed by a hunter. Therefore, hunter is greater than Krishna. Rajagopalacharya has written in Mahabharata that Krishna was killed by a hunter. Therefore, the hunter is Indian man. Krishna passes away. The heading of the chapter. In his Mahabharata, he writes the heading of the chapter, Krishna passes away. Can you imagine this? Yeah? You said about a couple of years ago that what ordinary man would be killed if he was shot in the arrow by a heel. I mean, shot in the heel by an arrow. No ordinary dies that way. How can a guy die if he's shot in the leg now? Correct? Yes? You put some plaster and bandage and you're okay, right? But Krishna passes away. Is it? So proper. So who reads Rajagopal's Mahabharata? Laughter. They are rotting at Bharatya Vidya Bhavan. They are rotting in the bookshelves and the insects are eating. Indian man in Somanath. I went last year when I was in Gujarat, the people said they don't believe. The people of Somanath, he was killed by like that. So the philosophy is simply for their name. So they put some kind of theory so that people can, they can understand all this nonsense. This pastime of Krishna to make the fools more fools. One who is thinking of Krishna as an ordinary man, Krishna says this, Krishna is playing the part to show them, yes, you see I am dying, this you see. Right? What he said, Abhajante ma Muddha. Muddha Janmani Janmani. He will remain Muddha Janmani Janmani. This is the pastime. Life after life we shall remain fool rascals. So this Gopalacharya and company, they all remain in darkness life after life. For them this pastime, Abhajante ma Muddha. Manusyam Dhanmashrita. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They did not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominant all that being. The rascal think of me as an ordinary human being. To rascal he is playing like, yes, you see I am an ordinary human being. Just see I am dying. This is to keep them life after life in darkness. It is so easy to understand Krishna that he is dying. Acha. I have read it, I have seen, he has died. Then what is the use of saying, Manusya sahasreshu kashidyata disudeya yatatama apisudhanam? Out of many thousands of men, one may endeavor perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Out of many millions of persons who can understand Krishna, then what is the use of saying this? If it is so easy to understand Krishna, what he is doing, what for he is doing, then everyone should understand Krishna. Then what is the use of saying Manusya Sahasreshu? There is co-intelligence. Bahunam Janmanam. Therefore Krishna says, therefore Prabhupada says, Tat Vidhi Parnipatena Parisparistena Seva. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. Self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he is in truth. For one who knows, who go and understand from them, from the Guru, don't make your interpretation, rascal, you shall remain always a rascal. Then what is the use of all these verses? If it is so easy to understand Krishna, then why Krishna said, Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya? Then you will understand. Go to the right person who has seen. But the rascal philosophers, they put up in their book that you don't need to go to spiritual master. Like one lady, she was staying in our temple. She is a life member from, I think, from Kanpur. She was discussing with her yesterday. I was discussing with her yesterday. She said that your devotees are forcing me that she should accept Prabhupada as a spiritual master. She said, no, I know Krishna. I am reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And she told me that she has read in the book that one need not go to the spiritual master. See that? I don't know which Bhagavatam you read. What? But what is she? Why is she staying here? You have to ask her to go. You have to ask them to go. No? See how Prabhupada is saying? People who think like that cannot stay here. Understand? They are not part of us. You can think and talk like this. This is the first I have heard of it. I am going to tell her to go if she will not. She told me. I never heard this before. No, she is staying there as a paying guest. What? No, she wants, she said, she paid us 1100 rupees in Kanpur and I don't know, the devotees, they promised her she can come and she can stay in our temple, but they never told her the four regulatory principle to accept the Guru. No, that's not true. She wants the money back. So give her back. See? Sometimes we have also this problem, come here, goodness. She can have it back, there's no problem. She should go, give her back. So why don't you give her and immediately get it over? And does it go more? There's something else already. Huh? So the point is that Prabhupada said that the thing we are understood that if anyone who talks like this, the example of Brahma falling and Shiva falling is to teach us an example that such persons, great personalities, they act in this way to show us that how dangerous Maya is. You understand? It's not that because they fall then everybody is falling. This is not the logic. You understand? It's important to know this point. You cannot use that example to illustrate your falling down. That is completely different. You understand? So especially if you are protected by Maya, especially if you are Guru, first class person, he cannot fall down. He cannot. They are very expert in catching the super soul. You know that word? Huh? 329. They are very expert in catching the super soul from, just like you can, take air. You breathe, you seeing things, fruits you pluck like that. 329, Prabhu. You see here. So in this verse, chapters about the super soul, how if anyone is Three 29:20. So you see here, as the chariot of air carries an aroma from its source and immediately catches the sense of smell, similarly, one who is constantly engaged in devotional service in Krishna consciousness catch the super soul, supreme soul, who is equally present everywhere. A pure devotee, that's why in that verse, Bhagavad Gita, you know that verse? No? Hello? Bhagavad Gita, come on. Yeah, you see, in the Bhagavad Gita, the same thing it says here. Sarvabhutastam atmanam sarvabhutani jatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. Unless he is seeing the Lord everywhere, how he can catch the Lord? Correct? Catching means not like catching, using some net and rope or what. It's with the mind, You are always with the... Understand? The next verse, you see, again, very important, these two verses in the 6th chapter. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mahi pashyati tasya hamna pranashyami sacha mena pranashyati. So here I see, for one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is ever lost to me. So how can a person who is never lost fall down? Can he fall down? Can he fall down? Someone who is always with the Lord, can he fall down? Can Maya touch him? There's a verse also, Krishna is speaking this verse. This is, the gopis are speaking, right? 10, 33, 34. Is that anyone? Everybody seems to be lost. Why is something wrong today?
33, 34.
Huh? I looks like everybody is puzzled. I don't know what's happening here. I'm in the wrong class or something. Yes. See, Krishna, the gopis are saying, the gopis are speaking about the great sadhus. Materialistic activities never entangle the devotees of the Supreme Lord. See this point? Just now we read, right? That great devotees who are enlightened, they cannot fall down. Yes? Even Maya, even if they work with Maya, correct? Yes or no? Just now we saw the words, right? So material activities never entangle the devotees of the Supreme Lord. How can he fall down?
Spoken by Shukadeva.
Huh? This is spoken by
Shukadeva Goswami.
Sukadeva Goswami, yeah. Who are fully satisfied by serving the dust of the lotus feet, nor do material activities entangle those intelligent sages who have freed themselves from the bondage of all fruitive reaction by the power of yoga. So how could there be any question of bondage for the Lord himself, who assumed the transcendental form according to his own sweet will? If Maya cannot touch his servant, then how the Maya can touch him? Does it make sense? Yeah? The gopis are saying, Sukadeva Goswami is saying a point about how Krishna is doing the Rasa Leela. He cannot be affected by Maya. So try to understand that devotees cannot, now we are talking about a pure devotee, not any ordinary devotee. A pure devotee cannot fall down. He cannot fall down. Period. See, so what's happening in our ISKCON, this is why we are different from ISKM and ISKCON. The difference is that they are teaching that a pure devotee can fall down. Do you understand this point? Are you aware?
Yes.
But Shastra is what is the base, what is Shastra saying? Can a pure devotee fall down? You know why? You must know, no, they say you cannot be. Correct? Huh? Maya cannot touch the pure devotee. Right, simple, this point we have explained from 9:30 now, correct? They will quote this 9:30 again, they will say, look, a pure devotee, Prabhupada said, even if you fall down, you must forgive him, blah, blah, blah. Huh? There's no such thing. If a pure devotee, so-called pure devotee, fall down, then you must reject him. You must reject him. There's a big controversy going on in ISKCON right now. There's a two camp. They've started the woman to become gurus. They've started that. And as a result, they are fighting with the Indian devotees in India who are supporting Lokanath, who happened to touch the private part of a little girl some 30 years ago. So that is for sannyasi and guru, this is not acceptable. Firstly, to be a guru is not acceptable because Prabhupada never gave them the authorization. So now the woman and all the white devotees, they are, not allowing that to go on. Whereas the Indian devotees are arguing, they say, look, it has been happened 30 years ago, it's all right, no, we can. So in this way, there's already a what? A divide, So you see how? Then Prabhupada also said that. Prabhupada said the moment you try to put something in against the teaching of Prabhupada, then there will be a schism. You understand? There will be two parties. And in this way, both parties become useless. So try to understand, you cannot go beyond Prabhupada teaching. Now they are trying to put Prabhupada, establish him 125 years. I'm sure you are aware they are building this huge temple, right? Do you know in Mayapur they are building the huge temple? So they are trying to put Prabhupada there, and this year is 125-year anniversary of Prabhupada.
They have already put yesterday.
They put yesterday? But who came? Nobody.
Who came?
All came?
All Harisuri Prabhu and
Who?
Harisuri.
Harishwari.
Harisuri Prabhu.
Harishwari fell down 3 times here, sannyasi. Sea View Hotel. And then he fell down, because at that time I was in America, You see, he fell down and he blamed who? He blamed me. I said, I'm not here. He said, why? No, because you are not here, I fell down. I was there in America because I left here in 1984. Yeah. You see, this is the statement. I'm here, I get the blame. I'm not here, I also get the blame. I said, look, how they are very clever, you understand? So you see how this is so dangerous. So, this, they put him in, Prabhupada. All the Indian fellows were there.
Yeah, Loknath Goswami there.
Loknath was there.
Yeah, and Jayapatak.
Huh?
Jayapatak.
Jayapatak was there. Oh, very good. So anyway, all these names, I don't know, but I am familiar. I live with all of them, they are my god brothers, so I know them very well. When Jayapataka came to our Mountbatten temple, he was running and playing catching with Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was a small boy then, he was running and trying to catch him. And Lokanath also came, I know all these people. So anyway, the point is this, that you cannot go beyond scriptures. This is not acceptable. That's why our ISKM, we have drawn a clear line that we cannot be part of this. What do we say? What is the word? Hypocrisy, is it? Hypocrisy. We cannot be part of this. It's not possible. I think we read, no? One should not associate with a hypocrite, correct? I think it's 3:33 something, yeah? So the point is this, that we have to know all these things because we cannot be naive. If we simply accept all these things and act like a naive person, then our spiritual life will be derailed. You understand why? You see, again here. So if someone is speaking like that and we kind of clap hand with them, a wise person should not enter an assembly if he knows that the participants they are committing acts of impropriety. And if having entered such an assembly, he fails to speak the truth, speak falsely or pleads ignorance, he will certainly incur sin. You cannot be like, I don't know, Prabhu, I'm just, I'm going there to see Krishna and you see that? You cannot say that. There you have to draw line. That's it. Finish.
They showed 4:33. They showed 4:33.
4 verses.
No, they showed Bhagavatam 4.12.33 to prove their point.
4:12,
33.
36.
33.
30?
3.
33. What is that word?
There's Dhruva took his mother home.
Who?
Dhruva.
Durva, okay.
Dhruva took his mother home, back to Godhead. So the Prabhupada writes.
12, 4:12, 36.
33.
4:12, 33.
Yeah, 33.
Purport. Oh, they said the disciple can take the guru.
Yeah.
Alright, very good point, yeah. Bhakti Siddhanta is saying, if I could perfectly deliver even one soul back home, back to Godhead, I could think my mission, propagating Krishna consciousness, will be successful.
No, even before that.
Before this, huh?
At the start, from the beginning of the book.
Beginning. This incident proves that the Shiksha or Diksha Guru who was a disciple who strongly execute devotional service like Dhruva Maharaj can be carried by the disciple even though the instructor is not as one. Although Suniti was not an instructor to Dhruva Maharaj, yeah, I understand. So here he says in this verse that even if the disciple is not, even the guru is not very strong, but the disciple is very strong, can carry the spiritual master back to Godhead. So in other words, if the spiritual master is somewhere around, you're not very, then the disciple, if he's very strong. Now our question is that, if you are learning everything from him, how you can become stronger than him? Possible? This is a rare incident, that Dhruva Maharaj, actually he went on the mother's accord, he went, and of course his real guru is who? You understand? So like also Bilva Mangal Thakur, he was visiting this prostitute, every day. Practically even after his father's funeral, he went to see her. And it was a stormy night, it was raining heavily, and the water was choppy. He went through this, no boatman would take him. So he started swimming, and then he thought some lock. He caught hold of a dead body, and he swam with the dead body and realizing, wow, this is a dead body. And then he went to a house, he knocked, it was so heavy rain, she thought he will not come, and he closed the door, she went to sleep. He climbed over the wall getting some rope, he thought it was a rope, but actually it was a snake. He climbed over, jumped over, he went and finally knocked, Chintamani, Chintamani, I am come. And when she opened the door, I said, wow, in this weather you still coming for this body? Oh my goodness. If you only had such kind of love for Krishna, how big a devotee you will become? That word struck him. He said, you are right. Immediately he left, he went. You see how, and of course you know Bilva Mangal Thakur, right? He's called what? What is his other name? What is his other name?
Somagiri.
No, Somagiri is spiritual man. He is like, there's another name for him. So the point is this, that what we are saying is that he became so advanced, he was, he pricked his eyes. He pricked his eyes because he was going to Vrindavan, and on the way he again got attracted to another woman, and then he was following to the house, and then this woman was Brahmin woman, and then husband, he met, what do you want? I want your wife. It's alright. So he went to, and when he was in the room with her, he realized, what a fool, what am I doing? He said, can you give me your hairpin? So he took the hairpin and he pricked his eyes and he finished, no more. Vision. You see how this story, lust, is so powerful. It's not and you want to save your guru. Can. Prabhu, only one gopi, no problem. Yes? Can you imagine? How he is showing. And then in Vrindavan he was always singing and about Krishna, and Krishna would come. And Krishna, he would want to catch Krishna. And there's a famous verse he says, you can escape from me, Krishna, but you cannot run away from my heart. I've caught you there and I've kept you there. So a pure devotee is always what? Having Krishna completely. So he is so advanced that he, of course, he definitely went back to Godhead. So he was glorifying the prostitute because she woke him up. You understand? So you see the parallel. Same way, Suniti, mother of Dhruva, because Dhruva made a lot of advancement, he saw the Lord personally. That also because of the benediction of Narada Muni. You understand? So it's not some kind of a situation here that everybody will save his guru. This is actually Prabhupada writes another point here. You can see here. And this verse, you see this important point here Prabhupada is making. This chapter is very important. If you can read Nectar of Instruction, the Mantra 5, for those who are not familiar. This gives the all descriptions of this first class, second class, third class gurus. So here Prabhupada saying it's a very long purport here. This chapter is very alright, we'll come there. The point is this here, see? It is very important. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints to the fact that an Uttama Adhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls into Vaishnavism. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttama Adhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava or Vaishnava situated in the intermediate platform can also accept disciple, but such disciple must be on the same platform. See this point? Jai Shri Radha. So a neophyte or intermediate disciple can accept the disciple, but such disciple must be on the same platform. It should be understood that they cannot advance very well towards ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttama Adhikari as a spiritual master. So in other words, if you are accepting a spiritual master who is not so advanced, then how you can become more than him? Does it make sense? Can you become more than your guru? Yes or no? No, Prabhu, my case is special, I am more advanced. Another big point on this, that if someone says something like this, you can say that is a pakka rascal. Why? Because a neophyte devotee always thinks that he is more advanced, he is very advanced. That's the mentality of a neophyte devotee. Understand? It's always thinking that, Prabhu, yesterday, I chanted, so much tears came in my eyes, The other day I chanted, a few hairs stood, Prabhu, you think I'm advanced, Prabhu? In the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad says, this means very advanced. You think I'm advanced now? One guy told me, Prabhu, I'm going to give blood, Blood donation? What? I'm advanced, my blood goes somewhere, they become devotees. Look at this. I heard so many from devotees. They're talking like this. You understand? This is the symptom of a person who is the number one, what? Neophyte. And how you know a neophyte? The first thing he do is fighting. That's why it's called neophyte. Fighting. You understand? So we have to know this kind of a mentality. You understand? And if he is thinking like this, that means spiritually is what? A pure devotee, how he thinks. 23, 26? Huh? Is it? Although a pure devotee's standard is above all, he still considers himself to be the lowest state of life. It is the mood of a pure devotee. He thinks, I am such a rascal. I have no good qualification. I am so low. Look at everyone, they are doing so well, Right? A pure devotee thinks like this. He never thinks that he is. I think this is next line, right? What is it? Next line is it? I have no, what, 20, what is that in the same line? 20, what? This is how he thinks, okay? Oh my Lord, I do not have any love for you, nor am I qualified for discharging devotional service by chanting and hearing, nor do I possess the mystic power of Vaishnava, knowledge or pious activities, nor do I belong to the very high caste family. On the whole, I do not possess anything. Still, O beloved of the gopis, because you bestow your mercy on the most fallen, I have an unbreakable hope that is constantly in my heart. That hope is always giving me pain. This is how he thinks. Always in the what? Separation mood, the fallen mood, crying for. Just like when was that I gave the last talk, last Ekadasi? How, what's his name? The one who gave the rights to Sudama Vipra, alright? You know what he says? Kwa aham, who am I? What is that verse?
1081. 1081.
Then, see how he thinks, although Krishna, 1081, 15.
16.
So here you see, in this verse, it's very important how they think, pure devotees. No, not this one. 81, sorry.
81.
See, this is a very important verse that you should memorize. This is Kwa aham, who am I? Daridra papiyan. I know you know the word, right? Daridra means what? Very bad luck. Somebody who's very, very low. Papiyan, fallen, sinful. Kwa Krishna, Sri Niketanam, Brahma Bandhuriti Smaham, Bahubhyam, Parirambitaha. A very important verse that you should, this is, by remembering all this thing, we can practice humility, because humility is the most important thing to go to Krishna, God. Without humility, you cannot go. See? Who am I? A sinful, poor friend of a Brahmana. And who is Krishna? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, full in 6 opulence. Nonetheless, he has embraced me with his 2 hands. He is not proud at all, oh, you see, I went there, Krishna embraced me. You know who is Krishna? He is God, and he embraced me, Now you see, I have become very pure. He sing like that, He think, who is God? Krishna is Sri Niketan. Who am I? Papiyan and Daridra Papiyan. So fallen. These are pure devotees, how they think. They never become proud, Never. And whereas we, a little bit, we become proud. Correct, Prabhu, that day I sing very nice, Yeah, you have very nice voice, is it? Yeah? How we, you understand? Or we cook something, it is this nice, Yeah, I cook, no, Prabhu. See, this is neophyte. Neophyte, always thinking of how to get gratitude, how to get appreciation. 2 different things. Like me also. Bro, you like the class yesterday? That's my habit. Such a So you see how this whole thing is, by just the consciousness, we can understand. By the speaking, we can understand what kind of consciousness one is at. See, like here, how his consciousness. Who am I? I'm a rascal, In other words, you just say, I'm a rascal. Who is Krishna? Is God, And yet he embraced me. The same thing Sanatana Goswami was also thinking. Nicha jadi, nicha sangi. Understand? Who? Nicha means what? Very low. I'm low class. So this is how our consciousness should be trying to acquire. Whereas if you think that, look, I'm so advanced, I'm going to save my guru. There's something wrong there. If a person speaks like that, Then what? Whether he save his guru or not save his guru, you will know. You will know, is it? You can see behind like Guru Maharaj. See that they are coming in another plane. Can you see? Come on, whether you go on the plane or not, we don't know, I have been talking nonsense. One of the guru was telling, he's going to pass away. He says, no, the train is coming, I'm at the train station. I said, what? What kind of statement? Oh, so advanced, huh? He's waiting for Krishna in the train station. Understand? And here Madhavendra Puri, he's praying, he's so advanced. You know who's Madhavendra Puri? Huh? When, where I can see my Lord? Where are you? How? He's crying. And he is waiting in the train station. I'm telling you, this is how you must know scriptures. You must know what is right, what is wrong. You understand? Because our base is what? Shastra. We are not just ISKM because we are ISKM, we want to be different. Sundar Gopal, you want to be guru, Because you cannot go to ISKCON and become guru, he'll become guru here. Now his friend, whether I become guru or not, guru is material. But the real thing is to have this knowledge. That's why the same words today, the same words you see here. Same words actually, this. I think we are running out of time today. See the same thing, little different. Api chat asi papebhyaha. Today's word api chat sudacharo, right? Is it? Sarvebhya papakrittamaha sarvam jnanam plavenaiva vijrinam santarishyasi. You please take note, this is 436. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of sinners, same thing, right? When you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you'll be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. Two different. One, if you are even fallen, if you start chanting, finish, your life is successful. Correct? See, that is trying to show how devotional service is very high. Here, in the 4th chapter, Krishna is saying, even you are very fallen, but if you get this knowledge, you can cross. Goes where? If you want to get this knowledge, where you go? To spiritual master. To get spiritual master, he will tell you to practice devotional service. This is a roundabout way Krishna is saying. But the point is that you must know. You must get knowledge. You understand? Knowledge is very essential. That's why Krishna says, even though you don't know, if you are sincere, I am sitting in that, I'll give you the knowledge. Somewhere you must get that realization. That's very, very important. It's not that you just simply become a dodo. I don't know, you know this word dodo. You don't know. There's a bird called dodo bird, in Madagascar. He was such a dodo. When he won't come, you will go there and they will kill him easily. And they have done that, they wiped out this bird already. Called dodo bird is no more there in Madagascar because he's so stupid, he goes and get killed. That's why in our English thing here, we use this word dodo. Don't be a fool, dodo. Understand? It's not that you become a devotee and do, you don't know what. Understand? You have to know. That's why Krishna said, with knowledge you can cross over. Of course, he went in 9th chapter and said, even you have no knowledge, if you just chant, just sit, everything comes. Because for a person who got Krishna, then everything is, you understand? So these are very important. Today mostly of you are devotees, so I am giving this class to enlighten you to understand. You cannot take things for granted. You have to know. Otherwise, anything they confuse you, then you'll think, that's also good, this is also good, everything is good. No. It cannot be like this. You follow? You must know why we are different, why we have to stand for Prabhupada and Krishna. Correct? Yes? Yes. So, getting late also, huh? So this is just the first class devotee. He cannot fall down. And he will never fall down. So again, one more point. Arihi guna nirguna sakshat purusha prakritehe paraha sa sarvatra upadastha tam bhaja nirguno bhavet. Again, same thing. Lord Hari, however, has no connection with the material mode. Hari has no connection with Maya. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the all-seeing witness, eternal witness, who is transcendental to material nature. One who worships him becomes similarly free from the material modes. You understand this point? If anyone who worships him becomes similarly free from the material modes. To what degree you are free? That as Krishna says, Ye yata mam prapadante tamstateva. As you surrender, I reward accordingly. So in the neophyte stage, we are always, what? Like a roller coaster, up, down, sometime good, sometime bad, this is our third class position. So to encourage us, we have to take shelter of the devotees until we become strong. At least you come to the second class platform. Because second class platform and first class platform, there's no more fall downs. But if you remain in the third class platform, it's very dangerous. You understand? You may be swept away by your emotions and sentiment. You are not having sufficient knowledge. This is a very dangerous platform. This is especially if you are coming here once a week, even worse. Yes, what happened in between, I don't know. And another problem, no, I know better. You see how? So it's very dangerous. That's why to take association with advanced devotee is very crucial. Understand? That's why it says, for such people who are coasting up and down, what is that verse? 10? What? 10, 20, 26, 10, 26, 11, 26, 33, So here you see, for a person in this platform, now this next verse. Yeah, this is the line. My devotees are the only refuge of person fearful of falling into a miserable condition of life. That is another verse, no?
Next one. Previous one and next one. 32.
30? 32. So here you see, this is a very important verse again to exhibit how Krishna is so merciful. This is the point, The devotees of the Lord, peacefully fixed in absolute knowledge, are the ultimate shelter for those who are repeatedly rising and falling within the fearful ocean of material life. Such devotees are just like strong boats that come to rescue persons who are at the point of drowning. But this is what is important. That's why temple is important, devotees are important, association is important, prasadam is important, hearing is important, yes, and serving devotees. All these are very, very important. And if you don't want to do all these things, then you are like another phrase we use, a sitting duck. You know what is a sitting duck? Again, you are from India, you don't use all this. Maybe you're shooting. For us, it means sitting duck means duck is sitting and you can very easily shoot it. That means you can kill him easily. That's why we call him a sitting duck. So you try to understand that we cannot become a sitting duck. Sitting duck means easy prey for Maya. So if you hook up with Krishna, then if you are in the third class or second class is different, then immediately you are safe by the protection of the devotees. Otherwise it is very, very dangerous and difficult because Maya, she doesn't care. Even if the child touches the fire, he doesn't say it is a child and you will excuse him. No. Correct? That's how Maya works. So we have to be very, very careful. Because there are many, many things outside there. Especially our organization is very small. We are practically they are not so extensive. So, there is a problem. So you have to wake up and take shelter. Seriously. Otherwise again you go back, a problem. Alright, so to comfort you I have to show you one more verse before I go. What is that? 11, 11:20, eh? Is that 11:20? Yeah, correct. This is a very important verse for all of us, neophytes. Having awakened faith in the narrations of my glories when disgusted with material activities, knowing that all sense gratification leads to misery, but still been unable to renounce all sense enjoyment, my devotee should remain happy and worship me with great faith and conviction. Even though he is sometimes engaged in sense enjoyment, my devotee knows that all sense gratification leads to a miserable result and he sincerely repents such activities. So even though, yes, we are falling down, but we should what? Pray to Krishna for repent. I'm sorry, as they say, what is that they say? The soul is, the body is what? Weak and the soul is, which is that? Something like that. So try to keep at it, don't give up. Take the humble approach, then Krishna will help us. You understand? That's why it says, and there's one more verse before I don't seem like I'm going, yeah? My mind is just going. This is another important verse that you should take note. Huh? Considering all this point, therefore, intelligent man decide to solve all problems by adopting the devotional service of chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart, and who is a mind of all auspicious quality. Such persons are not within my jurisdiction for punishment. Generally, they never commit sinful activity. But even if by mistake or because of bewilderment or illusion, they sometimes commit sinful acts, they are protected from sinful reaction because they always chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Is that the point here? Yes, fall, yes, but don't despair. Please continue chanting Hare Krishna. Only grace is to keep chanting. So please try to understand our position, pure devotee position. Of course, I didn't speak about the middle class, but the pure devotee position. So please try and keep association with devotees. That's the only safest thing you can. And if you give that up, then with this chanting Hare Krishna, yes, but chanting Hare Krishna alone is very dangerous. You understand? It's very difficult also and dangerous. Because why? You can slip away. In fact, as the verse it says, the better to be locked up in a cage full of fire, snake, this, that, than to associate with the... it's very subtle, you may think, oh, okay, Prabhu, I go. It's subtle, all talking to them, hearing them, associating with them. The consciousness gets very polluted. You understand? It's very dangerous, Maya is so powerful. I remember my own self, many years back. I was preaching to one Chinese devotee and he went to visit him. Then while visiting him, she came and offered all the sweet and all that. She said, this you can eat, this you can eat, this got no, oh this one, this got little leg, huh? Yeah, little leg only, it's alright, huh? And the other boy I'm training, he's taking, I said, yeah, oh, little leg only, it's okay. In my mind, I said, what? You see how dangerous it is. man. So powerful, you can be. I mean, let's take the morning program. Our Prabhu, today I want to chant my rounds now. Phew, I'm just going to just think of Krishna, correct? The moment you put your hand in the bead bag, where he goes? Where he goes? Correct? Yes? See, how much we are being what? Swept away. So therefore, take care. Very, very dangerous, man. So please, main saving catch is to come to the temple. So say with devotees. Make friends with the devotees. Make good friends with the... They will definitely help you. That's why we read the rising boat, strong boat to save us from drowning from the... Yes? You don't feel good coming here? Or you feel good only in prasadam time? Once? Yes? No? So, okay, any questions, any comment on this point? Of course, this is a very long subject. I'm just trying to put it in a little small time frame. You can always read our book. We have many books on this subject, yes?
One quick point was, and I remember from our discussion with you, that a pure devotee, even as an infant, never falls down.
As a what?
As a small child also never falls down.
A pure devotee.
A pure devotee. Whereas these people who have now become so-called gurus, in their childhood would have eaten beef.
No, that's
Even
different.
beef. So, and I remember an example from Srila Prabhupada's life when he was 4 years old, he was suffering from typhoid. The doctor said, give him chicken soup. So the parents said, forget it. They just put Srila Prabhupada at Krishna's feet and said, let Krishna do whatever.
No, they gave him, they gave him the chicken soup.
No, but I read it, he did not.
No, he gave him chicken soup and Prabhupada spit it out, and his father took it and threw everything out.
Okay.
That's there in the book.
So even as a 4-year-old, he never felt that.
They asked Prabhupada at what age you became Krishna conscious. They asked Prabhupada this question, at what age you became Krishna conscious? Prabhupada said 4 years old. You understand? What he meant that in the heart, how you got attracted to Krishna. When, at what age you completely, I don't know, I'm 47, still not attracted. Problem. So maybe you are, I think you are more. What age you got attracted to Krishna? Yes? What age? 5 years old? You born devotee, no? 5 years old? No? So anyway, try to understand how we have to be very humble. Yes, be careful not get your mind away, because that's the nature of the neophyte devotee, to always glorify himself. So be... Alright, anything else? Anybody want to say something more? So I guess I will stop here. I thank you very much.